Hey all, this is Jason with the Support Readiness Operations team, and I kind of wanted to do a quick run over of Agent Workspace in Zendesk, which is the new UI for tickets that we'll be migrating to as of August 2023. Um, so one of the things you're probably going to notice first is that the ticket comments are now sorted in reverse to what you're used to. The oldest comment is at the top, the newest is at the bottom. When you first go to a ticket, you'll likely be at the top of the ticket. If it's a longer ticket, you'll have this nice box that says jump to latest, which will scroll you all the way down to the latest message. You'll also notice the agent reply box is now at the bottom of the ticket. It's also now using a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So you can kind of type things out using the various, WYSIWYG options, bold, underline, italics, all that fun stuff. A big thing you'll notice is that markdown links no longer work. So if I did something like Google and then google.com, you notice that doesn't work. Will Hotto link me this part, but if I were to send this to a customer, this is exactly what they'd see. So instead, what you would need to do is actually make a link. So I might type Google, highlight it, and use some command shortcuts, or I can use the link button down here at the bottom to add the link, but Control K or Command K, just a quick button for that. That's how you actually would create a link moving forward. Not positive markdown tables ever worked in Zendesk, but I can confirm they definitely do not work in Agent Workspace. Inline images will also work. So if you were to take an image and post it onto the ticket, it will just render it that way. An important note there is that you have to be logged in to see attachments, and that is technically an attachment. So consider what the customer might see when you do that. The email they get is going to essentially have a broken link. They'll have to be logged in. So use those sparingly. Consider what the customer is going to see when you use them. Previously for redactions, we had a specialized app that's no longer required. Now what you would do is locate what you need to redact. So say I wanted to go to this comment here and redact something, I can click the three dots by the comment, hit redact. I can highlight what I'm looking for a redaction, mark it for redaction, and then hit the red redact button. This will auto redact it for us. So there's no longer a need for a specialized app just to handle redaction. That also works for attachments. It would be the same process. You would go to the comment, hit redact, and it would give you the attachment boxes that you could click and highlight to redact. You can still use macros the way you've always done it, namely the bottom left and highlighting and finding it that way. However, a new thing that can be used is quick commands for a macro. You do that by typing / and then you can select whichever macro you're wanting. So maybe I wanted declined, I can type decline and it'll auto search for me and I can click that. The important thing to note is that anytime it starts with a /, it's going to try to do it. So, if I do var log, eventually it won't notice it. So that's helpful. And you can hit enter and it'll go away, or type another / and it'll start going, it'll automatically make that go away. It does not apply when you're typing already. So it has to start with the / to actually pop up the macros. A useful thing for full agents is the ability to ping someone else on a reply. Now you can hit the @ symbol and ping other people. So I could ping myself in this case, or I could ping, somebody else on my team. By doing that, what it's going to end up doing is adding a CC if you are on global, or a follower if you're on US Federal, and it'll auto CC them and send them a notification email. This is only available for full agents, since a light agent does not have the functionality to do all the manual actions to do so. Another really nice feature that I like is that panels are now resizable. I can resize my comment box. I can resize the ticket metadata. I can, when accessing the apps or whatever, I can resize this as well. So that's a really nice feature that I like. It also will remember it. So if I get rid of apps and bring it back, it does remember what I had it sized to. So that's a nice feature. There is a native translation feature now available on tickets. However, it is using Google Translate. It's not as accurate as we would like. It also does not keep a stored message of the English that you may have sent, or vice versa, the non-English the customer sent. So I wouldn't recommend using that. Continue using Unbabel. It's useful if you wanted to get a quick kind of translation just for yourself, but don't actually commit to using that. The way we switch between public and internal comments has changed. You'll notice that right here, when in the text box, there's a public reply. If you click that, it gives you the option to switch to an internal note. An important note here is it does not transfer the message between them. So I've typed this is an internal note. If I go back to public reply, you'll notice it's gone. However, it is saving this message for me. So you can kind of use internal note and public note to switch between them. Just remember, you'd have to submit each one individually. There is no longer the ability to preview your message. This is because Agent Workspace text box now auto renders your reply as it would be. So, if I did bold, this is, bold, it's automatically bolded there so you can see how it would look. So when you type your reply, if you did a header 2, hello, underline, italics, you can see how it's pre-rendering what it's going to look like. This is useful for you to make sure that you confirmed everything. Another really useful feature that has been put in here, while we have lost preview, we have gained draft mode. You can do that by going here and turning on draft mode. The usefulness of draft mode is that if I were to go submit, I'm going to get this nice pop-up that says, if you're ready to go, you can send this message to the public channel and send. It's doing this because it's in draft mode. So if I accidentally hit submit before I wanted to, I can go back and kind of continue there. Another thing you will notice is that the far right bar has changed. Traditionally, we only had the apps thing, but there is now the customer context, which will pull up recent interactions for them. So recent tickets, also email org, their local time if they've set their time zones. We also have the knowledge base option, but as we don't really use Zendesk knowledge base, we use our own documentation. It's not quite as useful as we're looking as we want. That could be something that we expand in the future. I know Zendesk is also working on the ability to tie the knowledge base to other documentation. So there's a potential future where we tie the knowledge base in Zendesk to our own documentation so that you can quick search it. Those are some of the really big things that you'll notice as you use Agent Workspace. One thing I highly recommend is to look over the keyboard shortcuts. I'm a big user of them. You can go to your profile and go to keyboard shortcuts, and it'll show you the entire list. This also gives you the option to turn them off or turn them off for the macros in the composer. But this will show you all the various keyboard shortcuts that you have that'll help you kind of navigate around, do various things. An example is like Control-Alt-X to switch over to internal note, and that's useful if you're quick typing, you want to switch between them, especially for those of us who don't like using mice as much. So that's some of the really big features of Agent Workspace. It is available in the sandbox currently, but you would need an account for that, and we have very limited seats for that. So I would recommend looking over our handbook that has information on Agent Workspace, looking over the AMA, and if you have any questions, definitely join the AMA and let us know, and we'd be more than happy to discuss it. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see y'all in the queues and in Slack.